Good morning, traders. Chris Buss here with Traders Profit Compass with another edition of Before the Bell, your home for actionable pre-market content for Monday, May 16th. It is 7 a.m. straight up as I'm starting the video. And as always, please run your player at 1.5x. Quick look at futures. Bitcoin flat, oil down 0.5%, equities down 3 to 5/10. Copper is flat and nat gas is up 2%. Over on the macro front, I really did not see anything today that would be remotely regarded as potentially impactful. But tomorrow we got a pretty full slate. We've got retail sales, industrial production, some housing data, and Jerome Powell speaking at 2 p.m. The reason that I highlighted those numbers, the retail sales and housing data is going to come out before the bell. If you wanted to, whether you regard it as an outright short or some type of hedge that you have against your longs, we got a lot of retail reporting in the next several weeks. We got tomorrow we got Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, Target, TJX, and they're just going to keep coming after that. The retail typically reports towards the end of the earnings cycle. So if you are bearish on retail, remember that's the equal weight. XRT is the equal weight retail ETF, very good liquidity in the option chain, whatever. If I think that's your vehicle, whether you want to, be on the long side or the short side of that trade. I think if there are positive results, I think the upside will be muted. I think if there are big high-profile misses, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, etc., I think there'll be some downward acceleration. As we discussed in our macro framework, as inflation kicks in, I don't see retail setting the world on fire. Places like Walmart have a large grocery component and they're defensive to begin with, so I don't see much there. But when you get into apparel retailers, that kind of thing, I think they're going to have some tough comps versus when all the money was free and people were, getting reset up, whatever, after COVID. So anyhow, if you wanted to look at positions ahead of Jerome Powell, ahead of the housing data, ahead of retail, today would be the day to do it because tomorrow all that stuff happens before the bell. So let's dive in quickly. I want to run through this. The market is wrestling with some junk data out of China last night. The futures were off to a great start at 6 p.m. Gap ups across the board in the indexes. Oil was higher, and then we got this messy data out of China last night about 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that in the evening, and took the wind right out of the futures market. So now it's all about follow through on whether the Thursday, Friday emerging bounce was just a little short covering rally and they roll it right back over, or the bulls can defend here and put in a green day and keep the momentum rolling. You can see here on our oscillators, we have fired out of the hole, reaching minus 70. It would not be unthinkable for us to dive right back down. Obviously, now that I've gone through the pain of repositioning my portfolio towards the long side, I'm hoping for a follow through, but if I get whipsawed, that's trading. And just to be clear, within our framework, as we've been discussing, bearish longer term, intermediate to longer term, but happy to play bounces. So I hope this bounce plays out so we can reload our shorts at higher levels than trying to sell the lows kind of thing and then get ripped the other way. So we'll see how that goes today and the rest of this week. And don't forget, this week is OPEX week for May. So those tend to be bullish, but in this market, they can do anything they want. NYMO, same thing, fired out of the hole, back up to -12. I'd like to see that progress. Certainly not really predictive in this area, but something to watch on the closes every day. VIX collapsed on Friday down here in this 29 area. Keep that chart on your matrix. Watch it for trend. You see it trending up, you'll see red on the screen, or you see VIX roll over. That'll be a very good sign. I'd like to see the VIX get back into this 25 or even below area, place that it's would be advantageous to load shorts after a nice healthy rally into resistance. We'll see if that plays out. Bitcoin is flat, but very, very bearish look. I think they need to get above this 33,000 zone here to kind of get at least up to the 20-day moving average. But if you're looking for a short, let's see if Bitcoin can build out a bear flag, an A, B, C type move. But I'm more bearish Bitcoin than almost anything else. I'm not in it, not talking my book or anything like that. I just think with global liquidity coming out, it's going to be hard for this to have a sustained rally. But 33,000 is not a sustained rally. It's just going to come up maybe and tag either the 20 EMA coming down, or rally even stronger, come up and tag the declining 50 as a place to try and get short there. I'm going to go over the weekly charts just to give you a picture as well where we're at there. Nice hammer candle on SPY last week. Now, if we can print a green week, especially if we can get it above 410, that would bode really nicely for the bulls. SPY daily chart. If you go look, if you're not familiar, look up candlestick patterns, 3-bar reversal, and you'll see something like this: red candle, hammer, third candle, green, and taking out the first candle of the sequence. So red, hammer, green. That's a nice start to a reversal pattern. See if it sticks. I think your go, no go right now is 405. We're lower than that. Watch this gap below today. If things start falling apart there, then we'll probably go lower. I see here it didn't save my updates. I think you can shoot long against 400 here on the 60-minute chart. A break back above 400 would target 405. Then we've got a gap that starts at 406.40. Once you get into that, you probably have 411 in the bag, which would be a gap fill and bring you right into this resistance zone where we'd have to keep our stay on our toes if we got into those resistance areas. Here on the Qs weekly, another similar to SPY, really nice hammer candle, big reach down. They bought it back up. Bulls want to see 310 recaptured. I think that's the level. Here on the daily chart, you see that 3-bar reversal as well. We managed to rally back to the 8-day in pink. On a break above 305, you're going to have a little resistance at 310, but then coming up here towards that 317.35 to 322 resistance band will be a much tougher test. So, I mean, we could, as we sit here a little bit red this morning, I mean, that would be a great result just to, get that rally up into that resistance area. And then that would be a very objective place to try a short against the March and February lows back here. On the daily chart, downtrend channel, 305 breakout would represent not only a breakout above lateral resistance, you see the big volume over price bar, but also out of the down channel, and then that would portend really, really well of getting a rally up towards 317. If you just can envision the width of this down channel added to the breakout, and you can see that would project pretty darn close to that 317 type area. Remember, a channel width is handled the same way as a horizontal consolidation trading range. The width of the range is equal to the projected move on either a breakout or a breakdown. Moving on to IWM, big hammer candle, big reach down below. They closed it back above. That's bullish on the face of it. It all depends on follow through this week. Here's your 3-bar reversal, red, green, green. Here, 180, I think, is your pivot. And if you can get a breakout above 180, then I think you've got a runway to 187.50 at the bottom of this prior trading range. You can see we've got a gap in here from about 180.50 up to 83. And so if you're not in already, if you got a pullback into 176, I think that would be a nice entry to try along on a little back test of this breakout, and then get long for a run to 180 and potentially to fill this gap to 183. Facebook foiled my grand plan for a $20 gap fill. We said that this little area here where there was some extended trading may offer support. That's exactly what happened. So that short on Facebook didn't work out, got stopped out up here. Actually tried it a couple times, didn't work. So anyways, that's trading. Today, if you can take out Friday's close, then I think you can get to 202.50 and potentially up here towards 208. If we roll this thing back over below what is that there? About 195. If you got a back touch of 195, you could try along, but below that, I would be getting a little worried. I'd like to try this again on the short side if things fall apart, but not independently. We got to get into resistance, you know, be kind of firm on if we think the Qs are going to roll over, like I say, into resistance. Even if Facebook were to come down here and test this 192.50, I'm not gonna take a short there unless my whole posture changes on whether this bounce is going to stick or fade. I will let you know. I'm going to set some alarms, but I don't plan on doing anything with Facebook unless it can get a lot higher from here and then roll over, or if it just treads water, then the market rolls over and try again for this gap fill. Apple staged a rally over the last few days. 60-minute chart, I think this 147.50 is a nice pivot where we closed on 147.11. If you can pop this little channel, I think you've got some good runway up towards 151 and potentially up to this big volume over price bar at 159. So Apple doing its best to try and hold in there. Tesla bottomed out at 700, more or less once we had the gap up on Friday, just oscillated there. I think you can pivot off of 790-ish, which was, or excuse me, what was the high? Yeah, the high was 787. So, I mean, we're right here in the middle of no man's land. If you gotta move back to the gap here at Friday's low at 751, that would be a nice try for a long. Or if we get bullish in the interim, I think you can be long above 800. If you're a sharpshooter and you can trade that open effectively and you've had success doing that, you could get long against Friday's close and see if you get that move up towards 800. Microsoft cheated death over the last couple days with this big rug pull. Found its footing at 250, got this reversal. If you look at a bigger time frame chart, you'll see that 260 is a big level. So I think that you can stay long against 260 with a fair degree of confidence. You can see here that on Friday, more or less after the initial pop, more or less built out a bull flag. If you get a little breakout this morning above the downtrend line and 262, I think you can get long there for a run up towards 265 and then higher levels. I think it'll be important to get past 260, 265 at these prior lows. If it can do that, then we can plumb higher ground. So whether you decide to wait for that mini breakout, or if you get a pull, say if we're weak this morning on the open and it drops down to 258 or something like that, if you got then a reclaim of 260, that would be a nice long, in my opinion. I told you I got long Amazon on Friday. What did I get? 2250. What did I get? 2250, 400. Yeah, I got that spread. Potentially could go a lot higher, but premium is really expensive, and I didn't want to get carried away with trying to be, Amazon sharpshooter. But as long as it holds 2200, I think you can be in it long and see if we get a push up towards 2400 and even come up to potentially fill this gap if things get really bullish and there's an explosive rally. I told you I got long Google as well. I think I am in the 235 or 23, 23.25, 24.50 call spread. So I expect a little hesitation here at 23.70-ish at the top of this trading range, but then hopefully a move up to fill this gap in Google. I would be getting pretty worried if we lost 22.50 down here at the bottom of this trading range. Netflix outperformed on Friday, up 7%. We're back here to this midpoint area. If you can envision another box within a box, we got some prior lows here, right around 187.50. You get a break above that, I think you can see 200 pretty easily, and probably even up to 210, where we had the original bracket trade set up. So if you got a breakout above 187.50, I think you can be long there if you're bullish. Semis, big day, 5%. Gap up. Really, I mean, one red candle all day. So right here at 233, I think that's your pivot. If you get a breakout there with this little flag, you could come up here easily and fill that gap up to 247. I think that would be a really, really nice trade. I would be alarming 233 on that chart. And if you're interested in it and you got a pullback into 228 that held, or a pullback to the top of the gap that held, then you can try a long from those positions. Or again, the scenario of a weak open and then a reclaim. So that would look like, you know, we have a few bars red out of the gate, and then we quickly recover 233, take out Friday's high. That would give you a bullish green light to get long. So on any kind of weakness lower and a reclaim of the first level above, that's your first chance to get long. So if you're interested in that, please set yourself an alarm. Just going to quickly go through ARK. Here's the FinTech one. Of course, now it's a dash for trash. The most beaten down names. ARK-F, I think as long as it holds 18, you can be long with a target up towards, 1960, 21, something like that. ARK-G, 10%. Right at its downtrend line on the 60-minute chart. I think if you can get a breakout above 33.50, you can get long in there. Or right here against the downtrend line, if you wanted to take a chance on a long, if it looks good early in the session, you can get long against something like 31.50, and then see if you can get that move to 38. That would be awesome. ARK-K on the daily. If you were watching the news or whatever your financial news outlet is, they made a big deal of the ARK funds getting massive inflows last week into their funds, like, I don't know, third best week ever kind of thing. That's not where I want to be, as far as going in there, buying that stuff at this point. I'm still really bearish on the Ponzi bubble fraud sector. And I think a lot of this is short covering. But whatever, you can ride ARK-K bullish above 40 and then start looking around. If we get up to 52.50 here at this prior low, that might be a place. You know, if you got the Qs into resistance, a bunch of other stuff into resistance, and then you see ARC flash 52.50, that would be, for me, a very objective place to recycle back short again. But for now, money flowing in, the bulls are holding their own. What would give me pause is a rollover and breakdown below 40 with Tesla collapsing and the Qs collapsing. Then that would make this just look like a 2-day type head fake. ARCW, did I refresh that? No, I didn't. Let me do that. Yeah, there's your big 3-day reversal. I think you can stay long against 52.50 with an eye above to 67.50. I think you can be long against 52.50 and look for that up there at these prior lows. So what I think you should be doing now is on your notepad, getting your list of shorts together. Not to go short now, but you know how fast things change, at these turns. And so what you could do is go in on the list of items that when and if it's time to take an objective short, you know exactly what you're going to do. You could go in on ARC and set your upside alarms. You might be, if you're on the long side right now, that's fine. Know what your target is and where that key resistance is, because if we get there over the next week or even blow through them, you want to have your ducks lined up in a row on how you want to handle a potential reversal and where those resistance levels may lie. So let's do a quick recap. Junk China data is weighing on the markets. We'll see if the bulls can overcome that, extend this rally into May OPEX on Friday. Watch the energy sector. Oil's been really, really strong. Nothing on the macro front today, but we've got retail sales, housing data, industrial production tomorrow, as well as Jerome Powell at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then we've got a lot of retail teed up for the balance of this week, including Walmart and Home Depot tomorrow, followed on Wednesday by Lowe's, Target, and TJX on Wednesday. If you want to do anything in XRT, I would do that before the close today with a lot of retail reporting, not only this week, but through the reporting period. So, hope you have a good day of trading. Let's see if the bulls can get it together today and keep this rally alive. I am positioned long, and we'll see how it goes. Hope you got something out of the video today. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Talk to you next time.